Good morning, everyone. I'm John Trasviña, President and General Counsel of MALDEF, the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Educational Fund. And they said, well, you have to follow Congressman Danny Davis. I said, I always follow Congressman Danny Davis. Though we have an office in Chicago, he's beloved there. He's a real leader there for not just our community, but for all communities in the Chicago area. His participation today, his presence today, certainly adds a lot to this. And I would add another old saying, which is education is the key to freedom. And it is not every day that while our allies up here from a variety of organizations and communities work together on a day-to-day basis, it's not every day we all get up at one table and dais today, but we are united. We're united on this issue. It is an issue really for our vision. At MALDEF we call it our 2020 vision. The kids today who are preschool, pre-K are going to be 18 years old in the year 2020, and at that point, that's when we look at what we do today, what we're doing today and establishing today, of focusing on the high schools, will pay off not just in 2020, but certainly before. We can't wait until that point, but certainly it's a commitment we make to the children who are in the early grades today to make sure that they go through the process, through high school and into college dorms, into careers, technology, etc. The Campaign for High School Equity is a diverse coalition of civil rights organizations representing communities of color who believe that high schools should have the capacity and motivation to prepare every student for graduation, college, work, and life. Our nation has looked the other way for too long while many of our country's high schools have failed its students. 7,000 students dropping out on average every school day. The problem with our high schools has reached crisis levels, especially for students of color who remain a majority of these dropouts. The dropout rates are staggering for our community, for the American Indian, Alaska Native students, African American students, all ranging around the 50% mark in terms of not graduating from high school. It's also telling that the nation's racial and ethnic minority students are 4 times more likely than non-minorities to attend dropout factories. Those high schools where 60% or less of the entering 9th graders are still enrolled as 12th graders 4 years later. The groups assembled here today know that our nation and our federal policies can and must do better by our students. For this reason, we are committed to working together for 3 goals. To ensure our federal and national education priorities include systemic high school reform, educate diverse communities about the need and options for serious reforms in the high school education, and to mobilize elected leaders, policymakers, parents, especially parents, and students, to push for changes that produce positive outcomes for students of color and low-income students. No program like this in Washington, D.C. Would be complete if it were not, in the absence of our next speaker, and I'm glad our next speaker is here, Wade Henderson, the head of the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights, someone who I've looked up to for the past, many years, and I'm very glad that Wade is here this morning, and I'll turn this over to Wade now. Thank you very much.